ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, we are continuing our discussion from Canto 4, chapter 23rd, Maharaj Prithu's going back home. We are in the last section of this chapter. In the yesterday's class, we heard Prithu Maharaj, he performed Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, because he was feeling himself very fallen, a common ordinary man, although he was a avatar of the Lord. So he thought, I have to do something more to purify myself. Just like a person who has good appetite, but still he thinks, I want to digest the food quickly. So he takes some more medicines. So Prithu Maharaj, he had no material body, no gross body, but still he was feeling humble and he performed Jnana Yoga. But after practicing Jnana, he left. He gave up this process of Jnana. And then the entire process of merging his body, destroying his subtle body and the gross body is described. After he gave up his body, Archie, he performed the last rites. Then she also entered the funeral pyre. She left. All the devtas, the queens of this, and the wives of these devtas, they saw Prithu Maharaj and Archie going back to spiritual world in Vaikuntha airplanes. Devtas, they glorified Archie. And the wives of these devtas, they also glorified Archie. How she served her husband with her body, mind, words, just like Lakshmi Devi serves Lord Vishnu. So I think we continued, we did till verse number 26 or 26 तक हुआ था?
Yes, no. Up to 26 we did yesterday.
Okay. So we'll continue from verse number 27. तेषां दुरापं किं त्वन्यन् मर्त्यानां भगवत्पदं भुवि लोलायशो ये वै नैष्कर्म्यं साधयन्त्युत. Translation.
In this material world, every human being has a short span of life. But those who are engaged in devotional service go back home, back to Godhead, for they are actually on the path of liberation. For such persons, there is nothing which is not available.
Okay. So in the previous verse, the wives of these devatas, they are glorifying Archie. Just see, by dint of her pious activity, she is still following her husband, as far as we can see. So they are seeing Archie following Prithu Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport about both Prithu Maharaj and Queen Archie, they were passing out of the vision of the ladies of higher planets. These ladies were astonished to see how Prithu Maharaj and his wife achieved such an exalted position. So all these ladies, they are talking amongst themselves. So these ladies, these are the celestial goddesses from moon, planets, Surya Loka, Chandra Loka, and all the other planets. Thus, the word Urdhva indicates Vaikuntha planets are beyond because they are seeing, so these heavenly planets are above Bhumandal. But these ladies are also saying that they are going up. So where are they going? They are going to Vaikuntha. So that is what is indicated here. So when Prithu Maharaj and his wife abandoned their material bodies, they immediately developed the spiritual bodies and entered into spiritual planes, which could cross over this material coverings. These ladies in the higher planetary systems were capable of seeing both downward and upward. When they looked down, they could see the body of Prithu Maharaj was being burned, and his wife was entering into fire. When they looked up, they could see that both were carried in airplanes. All of this is durvibhavyena karmana. The word used here is durvibhavyena karmana. It was inconceivable to understand by an ordinary person. But these they could understand that these Archie and Pritush developed a spiritual body and now they are going up to the spiritual world. Prabhupada writes, ordinary man cannot even take to devotional service, nor can ordinary women maintain such vows of chastity and follow the husband in all respects. A woman does not need to attain high qualifications if she simply follows in the footsteps of her husband, who must be a devotee. Then both attain liberation. So now all these devatas, they have a desire. What desire they had? They also desired such good fortune. They also wanted to become human beings so that we can have such good fortune like Archie and Ritu. Because this earth planet is glorified in many places. And such place is this. Tesham durapam kim tvanyan martyanam bhagavat padam. So they are saying, Tesham durapam. It is so very difficult. Uh, yeah, it is so very difficult to achieve what these two devotees have attained. What Prithvi and Archie has attained, it is durapam. Martyanam, these human beings, they have attained the kingdom of God. It is so very difficult. But those who are practicing devotional service, for them it is not durapam. Every human being in this material world has a short span of life. Bhuvi Lola Ayusha. Lola Ayusha means they have very short span of life, flickering life. That means very short. So these human beings, they have a short span, but because they are engaged in devotional service, Naishkarmyam. This Naishkarmya is the path of devotional service. Because they are engaged in devotional service, so they are naturally on this path of liberation. So for such people, nothing is impossible. So therefore, we also want to become human beings on this planet Earth. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, we should become such humans if we can get such fortune. What else, such as Brahmaloka, is difficult to achieve for those like Prithu and Archie who achieved Vaikuntha? So these people, they are human beings, but they achieved Vaikuntha. So what to speak of Brahmaloka and all the other planets? We want to get a body like Archie and Prithvi. They want to become humans. This is described in fifth canto also. The Devtas, they are praying to Lord. Oh my Lord, we want to become human beings. Because in an earthly planet, the chance to practice bhakti is so very easily available. In heaven, it is so very difficult. The verse we have heard many times. Kim dushkarair prithvi tapovratair dana dujayena falguna na yatra narayana pada pankaja smriti pramushtati shaindriya utsavat. We have achieved this heavenly planet after doing lots of tapasya, dana, yajna. Everything is good here, but there is one problem. Nayatra Narayana Pada Pankaja Smriti. We can't remember Krishna's lotus feet because so much of sense gratification is available. In contrast to this, Kalpayusham Sthana Jayat Punarbhavat. Kalpa Ayusha. What is the use of having a life of Brahma? Kalpa Ayusha. It is not so good. Kalpayusham Sthana Jayat Punarbhavat. Because even if you go to Brahmaloka, Punarbhava, Again, you have to come back. But better than that life is Shanayusham Bharat Bhujayo Varam. Better than the life of Brahma in Brahmaloka is a moment of life, small life in Bharat Bhujayo, in Bharat Bhumi, not just in Bhumandal, in Bharat Bhumi. Bharat Bhumi is very special because Shanena Martyena Kritam Manasvina Sanyasya Samyante Abhayam Padam Hare. Shanena Martyena, this short span of life these human beings have, but if they become manasvi, those who understand the value of life, they give up all the attachments, sanyasya, sanyanti, abhayam padam, they attain the highest perfection of life. That's how this Bharat Varsha is glorified. A body in the Bharat Varsha is much more glorious. Mahaprabhu also speaks this Bharat Bhumite Manushya Janma Hoila Janma Sartha Kari Kar Paropkar. So that is what these devtas are also desiring. We want to become human beings because human beings, they have a short span, but they engage in devotional service and they achieve liberation. Prabhupada writes, this world is anityam asukham lokam, but Krishna is saying, imam prapya bhajasvamam. One who worships me, one should worship. Imam prapya. After achieving this material world, bhajasvamam, one should worship the Supreme Lord. So although this world is asukham, anityam, one can get the highest. This is the best end to which human life can be put, the chance to practice devotional service. Nothing is compared to that chance. By practicing devotional service, one can achieve the highest of all perfections. Prabhupada continues. Those devotees who are constantly engaged in service of the lotus feet of the Lord achieve not only material benefits, but all spiritual benefits. They go back home. Bhagavat Padam. Therefore, Naishkarmya is very important. The word used here is Naishkarmyam Sadhayanti. Naishkarmya means transcendental knowledge. Unless one gets this transcendental knowledge, that means unless one practices devotional service, one cannot achieve Bhagavat Padam. Jnana, Karma, Yoga, they cannot give one pure devotional service. After many, many lives of such practices, one can come to this practice of pure devotional service. Bahunam Janmanamante. So therefore, these wives of the Devtas, they repented. Although they had the opportunity of a birth in higher planets, they were not as fortunate as Prithu because they were going above them. And we are still here. That's what they were thinking. Prabhupada writes the difference between the material world and spiritual world, all the heavenly planets, wherever you go, Punaravartino Arjuna, Prabhupada writes. Therefore, Naishkarmyam, this practice of Naishkarmya, that is very important. Naishkarmya means ultimately practice of devotional service. Otherwise, even if you go to Brahma Jyoti, there is a chance of falling down. Another very beautiful verse. Now these devtas, they are telling, Savanchito batatma druk krichena mahata bhuvi labdhapavargam manushyam vishayeshu vishajyate. Translation.
Any person who engages himself within this material world in performing activities that necessitate great struggle and who, after obtaining a human form of life, which is a chance to attain liberation from miseries, undertakes the difficult tasks of creative activities, must be considered to be cheated and envious of his own self.
So now they condemn all the karmis, jnanis, and the yogis. All these devtas, they are condemning these karmis, jnanis, and yogis. They are saying, Savanchito batatma druk. He's certainly envious of himself and he's cheating himself. Who is cheating himself? Krichrena Mhata Bhuvi. even after attaining this labdhva apavargyam manushyam, even after attaining this human body, krichrena mahata bhuvi, are he is with great difficulty taking all the other paths. They are taking to karma, they are taking to jnana, they are taking to yoga. What is this? Vishayeshu visajjate. Either they engage in sense gratification or they engage in karma and jnana. What is the use of all these things? They are killers of the self. Vishayesu visajjate. Vishayeshu visajjate. Prabhupada writes, all these karmis and the yogis are working really hard. Karmis are trying to work hard in big factories. They are trying hard to get mystic siddhis. Jnanis are trying hard to get liberated from this material bondage. Everyone is engaged in performing very difficult tasks simply for the gratification of senses. All of these are considered sense gratification. Vishaya. Vishayeshu is not just material karmic activity. Even yoga, even jnana, they are all Vishaya. Because there is some selfish desire in that. That's why Bhakti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Sakali, Ashan, they're always disturbed. Prabhupada writes, anything in this material world, any result in this material world has an end. Antavat. They are antavat. Whether you go to heavenly planets, they are not permanent. They will have an end. So therefore, those who are intelligent, they don't take to this process of karma, jnana, and yoga. What they aim for then? Prabhupada writes. Thus, the aim of all these activities is sense gratification. The devotees are not at all interested in this. They are interested in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Because after attaining the lotus feet of the Lord, no other desire remains. Parijate anjasa labde sarango anyan na sevate twadangri mulamasadya sakshat kim kim rinimahi. After attaining the lotus feet of the Lord, no other desire remains, just like after a honeybee attains parijat. All the nectar is given to that. Honeybee has unlimited nectar available in parijat. Prabhupada quotes this verse, beautiful verse from 11th Canto, how this human body is so very rarely achieved. It is a nicely made boat in which we can cross this ocean of material existence. And it has the favorable winds of instructions from scriptures. It has a very wonderful captain as spiritual master. One should not waste this opportunity. Labdhava apavargyam. Apavargya means the path of liberation, not impersonal liberation, but that is personal liberation. In this case, Salokya Adi, Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Sarupya, all the other four types of liberation. Sahyajya is not considered, even considered by a devotee. So now, after this, Maitreya Muni, he continues. He says, Maitreya Muni says that Archi attained the same planet as her husband. Maitreya Uvacha Stuatishamar Strishu Patilokam Gata Vidhu Yamva Atma Vidam Dhuryo Vainya Prapachyutashraya. Translation.
The great sage Maitreya continued speaking. My dear Vidura, when the wives of the denizens of the heaven were thus talking amongst themselves, Queen Achi reached the planet which her husband Maharaj Prithu, the topmost of self-realized soul, has attained.
Patilokam is the same planet where her husband had gone, that is spiritual world. Achyuta Ashraya, proper Achyuta Ashraya. They went to the spiritual world under the protection of the Supreme Lord. That is Patiloka. It is not some different loka where Prithu Maharaj gone, Patiloka. It is sometimes some some discussion was happening. Pati Loka means there is a separate planet where all the Patis they go and the wives also go. Pati Loka in this case is spiritual world because Prithu Maharaj went to spiritual world. Prabhupada writes, a woman who dies with her husband or enters into fire in which her husband is burning attains the same planet her husband attains. Wherever the husband goes, same planet. That is not a special planet, Pati Loka. Pati Loka means any planet where the husband has gone. Prabhupada writes, Pati Loka does not refer to any planet within this universe. For Prithu Maharaj, he went to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. So Archie, she also went to spiritual world. In Vaikuntha, there are husbands and wives, but there is no question of giving birth or having sex life. As we have heard in third canto, all the residents of Vaikuntha, they are having beautiful bodies with their wives, they have their airplanes, they are roaming around, but they are discussing and singing the glories of the Lord. वैमानिका सललना चरितानि शश्वत् गायन्ति यत्र शमलं शपनानि भर्तु अन्तर्जलेन विकसन् मधुमाधवीनां गन्धेन खण्डितधियाप्यनिलं क्षिपन्तः. All the residents of Vaikuntha, they are with their wives and they are roaming around in the gardens of Vaikuntha with beautiful breeze carrying the fragrance of Madhavi flowers. But what are they doing? They are not disturbed. Akhandita dhiya. They are not disturbed by that because they are singing the glories of the Lord. Prabhupada writes, Bhakti Thakur, he has mentioned that he quotes a bhajan, Grihete Golok Bhai. When I come back and see my entire family engaged in devotional service, I see my home as Goloka. So that's how Prabhupada writes, Krishna conscious family means keeping the Lord in the center by installing the deity and they will never feel the sex urge. That is the test of advancement in devotional service. They are never attracted by sex life. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, will she go to material patilok, the pious act of dying with her husband? No, not at all. Because Prithu attained spiritual world. He didn't merge in Brahman. He didn't go to any heaven. He went to Achyuta Ashraya. Because Prithu Maharaj had prayed for that. He didn't want any other material benedictions. This is a famous verse we have heard. Nakamayena tadapyaham kachinna yatra yushmak महत्तमांतन हृदयान मुखच्युतो विदत्सकर्णा युत एषमेवरः न कामये. Previous to this verse, Prithu Maharaj describes those who want impersonal liberation. And then in this verse he says, na kamayena tat. Tat means I don't want that impersonal liberation because there is no nectar of your lotus feet. Charana Ambuja Asava is not there. Because I want to hear all the Krishna Katha going on in all the planets, in all the universes. Give me millions of years. So he didn't want impersonal liberation. Why he go to Brahman? He went to Vaikuntha along with his wife. Itham bhutanubhavoso prithusa bhagavattamah kirtitam tasya charitam uddama charitasyate. Translation.
Maitreya continued, the greatest of all devotees, Maharaj Prithu,
was very powerful and his character was
liberal,
magnificent, and
magnanimous.
thus I have described him to you as far as possible.
So that's how Maitra Muni concluded this entire discussion. This greatest of all the devotees, Prithu Maharaj's story is wonderful. Hum bhut anubhavo asau. King Prithu Maharaj was such a great, powerful king. And Bhagavat Tamaha, he is best among all the lords. Kirtitam tasya charitam. Therefore, what I have done, I have glorified, I have described the character of Prithu Maharaj as far as possible. So that's how Maitreya Muni concludes this entire wonderful story of Prithu Maharaj. Last section, he describes from 31 to 36 verses, he describes 39 verses, he describes the falashruti of reading or hearing this entire pastime of Prithu Maharaj. Yaidam sumahat punyam shraddhaya vahita pathet shravaya shruyadvapi sapritho padavimiyat. Translation.
Hare Krishna.
Any person who describes the characteristics of King Prithu with faith and determination, whether whether he reads or hears of them himself or helps others to hear of them, is
certain to attain the very planet which Maharaj Prithu attained. In other words, such a person also returns home to the Vaikuntha planet, back to the Godhead.
Yaidam sumahat punyam. This great, wonderful, pious narration, Shraddhaya avahitaha, with great faith, with great attention, pathet, one who reads it, shravayet, one who hears it, shravayet means one who explains it, shruyad, one who hears it, what happens? Sapritho padavim yat. He attains the very planet which Prithu Maharaj attained. That means he goes to the spiritual world. So Prabhupada describes the glories of hearing, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, how the topmost worship is the worship of the Lord, and better than that worship is worshipping the devotees of the Lord. Aradhananam sarvesham Vishnur aradhanam param tasmat paratalam devi tadiyanam samarchanam. Prabhupada is writing that. Prabhupada glorifies hearing about the spiritual master, worshipping the spiritual master. There is no duality between Vishnu and Vaishnava. This is called Advaya Gyan. The Vaishnavas, they are as important as Vishnu. Sakshat Haritvena. They are non-different. Spiritual master, Supreme Vaishnava is spiritual master, non-different. They should be worshipped as the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada quotes that pastime when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting Gopi, Gopi, and some of the students, they started criticizing, why are you chanting Gopi, Gopi? What will you get by chanting? Chant Krishna's name. And Mahaprabhu became very angry. So to benefit these students, they were offensive towards Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu thought, I have come to give this love of God. And these people, they are offending me. They will not get the highest result. So therefore, he took sannyas. Sannyasi says that verse. Anyways, I'm not remembering that, where Kaviraj Goswami describes that Mahaprabhu, he wanted to benefit everyone. Mayavadi, Karmanishta, Utarkit Gan, and Paduya Adham. All these people, Skeha Keha Mahadaksha, Dhaya Palaya, Yebanya Tasabar, Chuite Narila. Mahaprabhu brought this river of love of God and he wanted to drown everyone in this river. But Keha Keha Mahadaksha, some expert people were running away from this mercy. Dhaya Palaya. And Mahaprabhu was thinking, what should I do? So therefore, Eta Chinti Mahaprabhu Korila Sannyas. Thinking like this, Mahaprabhu took sannyas. That's what Prabhupada is quoting here. It is also stated that by Lord himself, that devotional service to his devotees is better than directly serving him. Sometimes the Sajya class of devotees are interested only in Krishna's pastimes. They are not so interested in devotee pastimes. They are new devotees, Kanishta. They think, oh, what is the use of hearing about devotees? I hear about the Lord. But worshipping the devotees of the Lord is better. That is what Vidurji tells, he has told in the previous, one of the verses. He said, if somebody is endeavoring to listen, what they should listen? They should listen about the devotees from the spiritual master because they have lotus feet of their Lord in their heart. He continues, Maitrimuni continues the Falashruti. ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्म वर्चस्वी राजन्यो जगतीपति वैश्य पठन विटपति स्यात् शूद्र सत्तमताम कियात्. Translation.
If one hears of the characteristics of Prithu Maharaj
and is a Brahmana, he becomes perfectly qualified with the Brahmanic power. If he is a Kshatriya, he becomes a king of the world. If he is a Vaishya, he becomes the master of other Vaishyas and many animals. And if he is a Shudra, he becomes the topmost devotee.
So that is the wonderful benediction he gets. He gives to all the varnas. Whatever you want, you can get by the practice of devotional service. Akama, sarvakama, moksha kama, whatever you want. But a devotee is not interested in any of this. Devotee is interested only in pure devotional service. Prabhupada writes, whether one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, he can attain perfection by hearing and chanting. And he gives some examples. How Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya, but he possessed so many hundreds and thousands of cows. He ruled over many cowherd men. A person who is born in a Shudra, he can also become better than Brahmana. So that's how anyone, by practice of devotional service, of course, Nanda Maharaj is not an ordinary personality. Okay, he continues. Tri kritva idama karnya naro nare athava drita apraja suprajatamo nirdhano dhanavattamaha. Translation.
It does not matter whether one is a man or woman. Anyone who with great respect hears this narration of Maharaja Prithu will become the father of many children if he is without children, and will become the richest of men if he is without money.
Most of the times we see the falashrutis are material. These are to attract those who are not directly practicing Krishna consciousness. So that's how Bhagavatam attracts everyone, not just pure devotees. In fact, the primary audience of Bhagavatam is not pure devotees. It is struggling sadhakas. It is conditioned souls. That's why this entire story of Bhagavatam is weaved in such a way that anybody will be attracted to Krishna, whoever they may be. Even if they are materialistic people, okay, you will get everything, come to Krishna. You read this story, you will get children, you will become rich, you will get that, you will become the leader of the world, so many things. Prabhupada writes, as described in second canto, one has to worship various devatas for different types of benedictions. But here it is indicated simply by hearing the life and character of Prithu Maharaj, one can have both riches and children. So that's how material benedictions are given. It is advised that one read them at least 3 times. Those who are materially afflicted will so benefit by hearing the Supreme Lord that they need not go to any demigod. So basically, somehow or other, Bhagavatam wants everyone to get connected to Krishna. You want material things? Come to Krishna. Krishna will give you everything. And in due course of giving the benedictions, he'll purify the heart also. कृष्ण कहे आमा भजे मागे विषय सुख अमृत छाड़ी विश्व मागे यही बड़ा मूर्ख आमी विज्ञ मूर्ख विषय के न दीब स्वचरणामृत दिया विषय भुलाइब. Krishna will give his own lotus feet and will make a devotee forget all sense gratification. अस्पष्ट कीर्ति सुयशा मूर्खो भवति पंडितः इदं स्वस्त्ययनं पुंसाम् अमंगल्य निवारणम. Wow.
Also, one who hears this narration 3 times will become very reputable if he is not recognized in society, and he will become a great scholar if he is uh, illiterate. In other words, hearing of the narrators of Prithu Maharaj is so auspicious that it drives away all the bad luck.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, it is said that in the Bhagavatam itself that Krishna, whoever in Krishna's mercy is there, in whoever person, he takes away everything. And here in the philosophy, it's maybe for materialistic person to attract.
हाँ, तो पहले आए तो सही, उसके बाद लेंगे ना.
Okay. Once they come, then he will take away everything. But sometimes he will not take also, right?
Yeah, special mercy doesn't give to everyone.
Take away the inauspiciousness in our life, na?
Yeah, he can take away all. He can take away all the wealth and make us all the auspicious also. See that that Krishna decides by taking away. Will this devotee become more sincere, or if he is already sincere, he will give all the wealth also. That's what he did with Dhruv Maharaj. That's what he did with Prahlad Maharaj. That is the standard protocol. That is the SOP of Krishna. If he thinks इसको दूंगा तो भाग नहीं जाएगा, then he'll give. That's what Sudama speaks, right, in the 10th canto. He says that you know why Krishna didn't give me? Because he thought if I'll give him, he will become intoxicated and natumam bhajet. He will not remember me, he will not worship me. Therefore, iti karuniko nunam dhanam me bhuri nadadat. Therefore, mercifully, Lord didn't give me anything. So that's up to Krishna. Krishna, first of all, he puts a bait to attract everyone. And then when one becomes devotee, then he gives right intelligence, right understanding, what is good for us. And even if the devotee still is not understanding, then Krishna has another third degree treatment that he doesn't do with everyone. Okay, but whatever he does, whatever his punishment and his reward, they are all benedictions. There is no inauspiciousness when it comes to Bhakti. That's why Bhakti is called Shubhada. Whatever apparent inauspiciousness comes in the life of a devotee, that is not inauspiciousness, that is auspiciousness. We take it as inauspicious because we are not able to see the whole picture. But in Krishna's point of view, Krishna sees how this person will come back to me. So it is like मतलब ऐसा अच्छा यहाँ पे वरदान दे रहे हैं भाई, क्या चाहिए आपको सब मिलेगा. रेपुटेशन चाहिए, read 3 times. वाह. You want to become scholar, read this. So basically, this is unalloyed material benediction given so that any materialistic person will say, wow, chalo yaar, Bhagavatam padhenge. Prabhupada writes, in material world, everyone wants profit, adoration, and reputation. By associating with Lord, one can very easily become opulent in every respect. So it is a misconception that people say, oh, if you go to Krishna, Krishna will not give you material things. He will give material things. He has again and again described, he has again and again given that. Krishna himself says, whatever you want, you come to me, I'll give you everything. As far as education is concerned, one can become recognized if he is not a reputed person. Simply by hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, this world is full of dangers. A devotee has no fear because Bhakti is all auspicious. It drives away all the bad luck. Amangalya Nivaranam. Shubhda. Shubhda means all auspicious. Nahiyato anya shiva pantha vishata samsrita viha vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yogo yato bhavet. Second canto describes this. Shukadeva Goswami saying, there is nothing more auspicious than this path of devotional service. Nahi ato anya shiva. Shiva means auspicious. There is no path which is more auspicious than this path of devotional service. Okay, next. Another very wonderful benediction. बहुत सारा है. कोई भी आपको अगर ऐसा लगे कि भाई इसको मटेरियल चाहिए तो उसको पृथु महाराज के सेक्शन पढ़ने के लिए बोल दीजिए. धन्यम यशस्यम आयुष्यम स्वर्ग्यम कलिमलापहम धर्मार्थ काम मोक्षानाम सम्यक सिद्धिम अभिप्सुभिः श्रद्धयेतत् अनुश्राव्यम चतुर्णाम कारणम परम. Translation.
By hearing the narration of Maharaj,
one can become great, increase his duration of life, gain promotion to the heavenly planet, and
counteract the
contaminations
contaminations of this age of Kali. In addition, one can promote the causes of religion, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation.
Therefore, from all sides, it is advisable for the materialistic person who is
Interested in such
things to read and hear the narration of the life and character of Prithu Maharaj.
So whatever you want, it is all auspicious to read the pastimes of Prithu Maharaj and basically the pastimes of Krishna. Because you know what will happen? Bhagavatam is tricking us. You start reading stories of Prithu Maharaj thinking that, okay, I'll get material things. Slowly you'll get purified. That's what happened to Dhruva Maharaj. He wanted a kingdom greater than great-grandfather Brahma. He said, Padam Tribhuvan Utkrishtam Jigisho Sadhu Vartmame. O Narad Muni, I want a kingdom greater than my great-grandfather, but I want it by a bona fide path. So Narad Muni could have given that benediction himself. He was qualified enough, powerful enough. But he wanted to purify his disciple. Therefore, he taught him the path of devotional service. And when he saw darshan of the Lord, he said, I don't want anything else. So my Lord, Swamin Gritarthosmi Varam Nayache. So that is how Lord works. He purifies the devotee. Prabhupada writes, if a person wants to return back home, or wants to be a pure devotee, or wants some material prosperity, or want to merge in Brahman, he is recommended to take the path of bhakti. This is the sum and substance of all the Vedic scriptures. Whatever you want, come to Krishna. Don't go to anyone else. That is sum and substance of all the Vedic scriptures. Continues the last benediction. Vijayabhimukho Raja Shutvaitat Abhiyati Yatyan Balim Tasmai Harantyagre Rajana Prithave. Translation.
If a king who is desirous of attaining victory and ruling power chants the narration of Prithu Maharaj 3 times before going forth on his chariot, all subordinate kings will automatically render all kinds of taxes unto him, as they render them unto Maharaj Prithu, simply upon his order.
Okay. Muktanya Sango Bhagavati Amalam Bhakti Udvahan Vainyasya Charitam Punyam Shrunya Shravayet Pathet. Translation.
A pure devotee
who is executing a different process of devotional service may be situated in the transcendental position, being completely absorbed in Krishna consciousness. But even he, while discharging devotional service, must hear, read, and induce others to hear about the character and life of Prithu Maharaj.
After hearing all these material benedictions, a person who is practicing pure devotional service may be thinking, should I read this or not? Because it gives all the material benedictions only, it seems. So therefore, Maitreya Muni is clarifying, no, a pure devotee, person who is executing the practice of devotional service, mukta anya sanga, one who is free from all material, one who is being freed from all material contamination, and he is practicing amala bhakti, pure devotional service, what he should do? Vainyasya charitam punyam, he should also shrunuyat, hear, shravayet, explain, pathet, read the wonderful auspicious pastimes and character of Vainya is Prithu Maharaj. So that's how this pastime of Prithu Maharaj and so many things we heard in last few chapters, it is for everyone. One should hear the story with faith in order and give up all other results. First, all these other benedictions are given, and then if you don't want any of this, then you'll get pure devotion. So Bhagavatam also tests. Some test is also always there. Okay, if somebody thinks, okay, ये भी अच्छा लग रहा है, ये भी मिल जाएगा तो अच्छा है, then you'll not get pure devotion. If all the other things we are attracted to, will not get pure devotion. If one gives up all the other results, then one gets Shuddha Bhakti. Okay, now conclusion. वैचित्रावीर्याभीतं महन्माहात्म्यसूचकम् अस्मिन् कृतम् अतिमर्त्यं पार्थवीं गतिमाप्नुयात्.
Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, I have, as far as possible, spoken the narrations about Prithu Maharaj, which enrich one's devotional attitude. Whoever takes advantage of these benefits also goes back home, back to Godhead, like Maharaj Prithu.
Okay, so that is how it is must hear for a pure devotee. Is described in the previous verse. Must. It is not that, okay, ठीक है पढ़ सकते हैं. Must hear. Must hear, read, and induce others to hear. And then he says, whoever takes advantage of these benefits also goes back home. Mahan Mahatmya Suchakam, this great narration which I have described, Asmin Kritam Ati Martyam, this is uncommon. Parthavim Gatim Apnuya, he will also attain the wonderful destination like Prithu Maharaj. He will attain Supreme Lord. Prabhupada writes, therefore, Shravayet, Prabhupada focuses on this word Shravayet. Shravayet means one should explain, one should teach, one should speak Bhagavatam. Not only just read, induce others to read, induce others to hear. And now we have book distribution month coming. We should try to make others read. Shravayet. Yare dekho tarakaho Krishnopadesh. So Maharaj Prithu's history of devotional service is as potent as the activities of Supreme Lord. No difference. Anudinamidam madarena shrinvan prithu charitam prathayan vimukta sangha bhagavati bhava sindhu kota pade sa cha nipunam labate ratim manushyaha. Translation.
Whoever with great reverence and adoration regularly reads, chants, and describes the history of Maharaj Prithu's activities will certainly increase unflinching faith and attraction for the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord's lotus feet are the boat by which one can cross the oceans of desire.
Anudinam idam adarena. Now, how one should read this? That is also important. Okay, read. कैसे पढ़ना है? Anudinam. Every day, regularly, if one reads, Adarena, with great respect. If one hears Shandvan, Ritu Charitam, this wonderful character of Ritu Maharaj, Prathayan, Vimukta Sangha, if one chants, if one hears, what will happen? Vimukta Sangha, he becomes free from all the material contamination, and Bhava Sindhu Pota Pade, he will attain attraction for Rati, he will attain Labhate Rati, he will attain attraction for what? Bhagavati Bhava Sindhu Pota Pade. Sindhu Pota. Pota means the boat. The lotus feet of the Lord is described as a boat. Anyone remembers any other place where Lord's lotus feet is compared to a boat? Some very famous verses are there. Where Lord's lotus feet is described as a boat. One of the verse is Samashitaye Padapallavaplavam Mahat Padam Punya Yasho Murare Bhavambudirvatsa Padam Param Padam 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 Yat Vipadam Natesham. So this is one verse. So that's how Lord's lotus feet is described as the boat. Prabhupada focuses on this word Bhava Sindhu Pota Pade. The lotus feet of the Lord are known as Mahat Padam Punya Yasho Murare. In that verse also, Mahat Padam comes. Mahat Padam means the lotus feet of the Lord. It is glorified in n number of places in Bhagavatam. Anyone remembers anywhere else the glorification of the lotus feet has come? Whatever we have heard so far. Many places it has come. Any few examples?
Maharani Kunti describing about Krishna's lotus feet, beautifying the thing.
Okay, okay. Anywhere else? One of the verses is Kapila Dev describing the beautiful form of the Lord from lotus feet to lotus face. And there he describes very wonderfully how the lotus feet of the Lord, they are like thunderbolt. The toenails, they emit effulgence which can destroy all the ignorance. So Prabhupada glorifies the lotus feet of the Lord. This position can be achieved very easily by narrating the history of life of Prithu Maharaj every day. Okay, so that's how this chapter ends. Now, the next chapter. Okay, it is already 9 o'clock. So we can stop here. We'll continue next time. So after describing Prithu Maharaj's story, Maitreya Muni, he begins to speak the genealogical line of Prithu Maharaj. He doesn't stop there. He starts continuing. He continues the discussion of the story of Prithu Maharaj's dynasty. And wonderful discussion will come because in the line of Prithu Maharaj, the great personalities, the Prachetas, they appear. Because anyone remembers how this discussion of ये ध्रुव महाराज से इधर कैसे आ गए? Anyone remembers that? What happened? In the 8th chapter.
So
8th nahi, 11th chapter. No? 8th. Dhruv Maharaj. Up end of that. 9th chapter. Yes, Prabhuji.
Narada Muni glorifies Dhruv Maharaj at the Prachetas when he meets. So then he starts this time.
Narada Muni glorifies Prachetas, glorifies Dhruv Maharaj in the assembly of Prachetas. That's what Maitreya Muni told. It comes in the 3rd and 12th chapter, right? Yeah, 12th chapter में बोलते हैं. Narad Muni sang, 40th verse. Narad Muni sang the glories of Dhruv Maharaj at the sacrifice of Prachetas. Then Vidurji gets a question. ये Prachetas कौन है? ये कहाँ मिले नारद मुनि इनको? It's because Prachetas, they come in the dynasty of Dhruv Maharaj. So that's how Maitreya Muni starts describing the dynasty, the family lineage of Dhruv Maharaj. So that's how we have heard so far. Wonderful dynasty. उनके dynasty में अंग महाराज आ गए, फिर Vaina आ गए, फिर Ritu Maharaj, and now after the story of Ritu Maharaj is ending, he will continue the dynasty of Ritu Maharaj. That we'll discuss next time. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.